I'm just watching the Ed Show, and unless you've been in a rock under a rock for the past few days, um, the main issue in this country has been whether or not we raise the debt ceiling so that we don't default on our obligations, and the country goes down the tubes pretty much. Um, and seeing this Democrats, the thing between Democrats and Republicans, the fight that they're having to what they're going to cut, where they're going to cut it, it's painful. I mean, I've been in this world for 37 years. I have never seen. I mean, in the time that I've been following politics since I was 16, maybe 17, I've never seen it just fucking bad. I mean, these guys are just nuts. They're insane. I'm talking about the Republicans. They're insane. These people just want what they want and screw the country. If the country sinks, fuck it. They'll go somewhere else. I, even though I don't agree with the Tea Party in some ways, I agree with certain things. But of course, the way they are set, they're set in a way where, if there is some kind of a revolution in this country, it's going to be for all the wrong reasons, not none of the right reasons. And and what's going to happen is I mean, first of all, this group is being funded by a bunch of wackos called the Koch brothers. And I don't, not to ramble, but well, my main point is that it's reached, whole thing in this country has reached a point where it's reached a boiling point pretty much, and I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. I mean, people are, I know it's a lot of people who are very depressed, and I can't lie, I'm one of them. And I'm not depressed to that point. No, I'm depressed and I'm pissed. I'm pissed because, this country could be so much more. And because of one thing, greed. Because, there's so much greed in this fucking country. And I'm not saying that there's no greed anywhere else, because I'm pretty sure there's some politicians in some other countries who are fucking greedy, who would just like to get their claws into their country's, monetary system. But I mean, there's been such a resurgence ever since the Reagan years, and I was at least, when I moved in to the U.S., to the States, I moved in '84, and I've been able to see how things are, even though my understanding wasn't as good because I was 10, but I've seen how things have been in the past, you know, um, 27 years, and I mean, it's been really, really, really. It's gotten, incrementally, it's gotten very viciously greedy, and in the past 10 years, since Bush took office, it's gotten so greedy to a point where these people, it's either their way, it's either they get the things that their corporate masters want, or they're gonna sink the country, screw the country. They owe no loyalty to us as Americans. I know that people elected the conservative branch, the conservative part of the country elected these people, um, you know, believing that they were going to take on all these issues. And what they've been doing is that I mean, some people have been waking up, but what these people, Republicans have been doing, along with some help with the Democrats, it's been sinking this country further and further and further and further into that. You know, they've been trying to dismantle all these social services that were established in the early to mid 20th century. You know, they've been trying to tear this down so they could give all the money they can to. I don't know. That sounds like that sounds like some cliche, some democratic cliche or some liberal cliche, whatever you want to call it. But it's fucking true. It's fucking true because look at how much these people are accumulated. I mean, look at what's going on right now in England with the whole thing with Rupert Murdoch's um with the whole Rupert Murdoch situation over there. I mean, it's corruption gone amok. It's corruption and greed gone amok. And that's gonna. I mean, I hate to be negative on this, but there's a time of reckoning coming. And you can't just you can't. It's kind of like poking a. It's like poking a nest of wasps. You poke. Eventually people are just gonna poke back. And when they do, I mean, and this is a warning to all the fucking politicians. You better hope that these people poke at you with their boat. That's all I'm going to say. You better hope these people poke at you with their boat and boat you out. The best thing you can, especially these greedy Republicans and these greedy Democrats who don't give a shit and want to sell the country down the sink, and all these rich people. You better hope, especially the politicians though, you better hope they poke at you with their fucking boat. Because there's a reckoning coming. You can only tease us, taunt us, and just irritate us to a point. That's all I'm gonna say. The reckoning's coming. Right now.